very, very, very special guest today. Not Riley. It's not Riley.
Gee, thanks.
Riley, you're my co-host. You are not a guest. I know.
That's right.
I saw Riley over there getting so pumped about that intro. Like, oh, dude, Tyson's finally going to give me the accolades I deserve. Ashleigh, of course, always with me, always by my side, never left, except for one time for some R&R. But you came back so much stronger. And so, I totally support that. Riley went to Sweden, had a baby, left me for both of those things.
A few different things.
Yeah. Two. Few? There's three?
No, two. I guess two. Yeah,
two
we were
so
talking
far.
about this last time. A couple different things.
A couple different things. Anyways, our special guest, a dear friend of mine, I have known him 16, 17 years on the first season of Survivor together, on our second season of Survivor together. Coach Wade, the Dragon Slayer. Coach, what's up?
How are you, my good friend?
I'm great. I'm so excited you joined us. I know you're scrambling because you're teaching high school over there while also watching Survivor, while also doing Survivor interviews. You can do it all. Just
doing
chewing,
it all, man.
Walking and chewing gum at the same time. Let's get into it. Episode 2. There is so much to talk about, honestly. I want to start with Siva, the humble traits, where we see Charity's disgusting feet. Mitch reveals that he has a speech impediment, and then 4 nipples. Coach, are you revealing your weakest, most vulnerable thing? Like,
I think that
I
think the producers had a field day with that, in my opinion, and I think they're having a field day with the stunt performer, right? Because I saw him in that, and I thought, I've sat there on the same type of beach where they're just like stretching the boundaries of your eccentricities. So, I mean, it was the thing I did like about it is that, again, it's what Survivor does really well. I feel like they got away from it a few seasons, but they're back at developing the characters. So for them to spend the first, 7 or 8 minutes just on goofy stuff like that, I love to see. Would I talk about my traits? Look, I can't shoot a basketball. We all know that. I'm open about that. And I can't draw or paint. Other than that, I'm a master at just about everything else I put my hand to. So, but humble traits I think it's just a cool vehicle to, get to know the cast.
Yeah, I also think like to bond with the cast in that moment, like the more humble the trait, like Kyle's wart callus was not that impressive. I would have been like, you got to go next, buddy, because that's not a real disgusting thing. Like, it's not like Charity's foot. One foot, and they zoomed in on it a lot. That's definitely going to be on the internet. People are going to have a heyday. Riley, do you prefer Dee's gigantic toes or Charity's messed up foot? You have to choose one.
I have to choose one.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we didn't get a good look at it. I don't want a good look at it, but the Chrissy saying the size for belly button was way too deep.
Yeah.
Based on just how she indicated it. I don't really want to see it, but my belly button is not that deep. Never seen one that deep.
It's like on you go to Ripley's Believe It or Not, and they have a video of the sword swallowers, and then they have Chrissy jamming a Q-tip like 4 inches into her belly button.
Wild.
It's wild. Coach, what are you doing with that information? Q-tipping in the belly button.
Man, I tell you what, I do not, but usually I don't divulge those type of secrets. I will say this though, I did have a callus on my thumb. That ended up being a wart. I'm not kidding. So when that was happening, I was like, that's the same thing. I wrote a bunch in college, and then I just assumed it was a callus. And when I went to my doctor like 2 years ago, inadvertently, you've shaken my hand and felt this wart, Tyson. Okay.
Yeah.
But I was totally like, oh, look at this callus, and they burned it off, and it's gone.
Wow. So you would totally have bonded with Kyle over this.
I loved
You would have
it.
been like,
That was actually really cool.
Yeah, that was funny that everybody was like, that's a wart. Yeah, I like these moments. I think we get a little vulnerability from people, and also people open up to other people. I think it's unifying. And it was fun. And I have actually heard multiple times David being coach-esque. Do you agree with that? Does David have some coach vibes to him?
I don't know, man. They keep trying to replicate me. They're having a hard time with it.
I think it's a one-on-one situation.
A one-of-one?
I don't see it. I don't really see it, man. But I mean, I always think, there's a bunch of poor man coaches running around.
Yeah. Okay.
Coach,
but I appreciate the flattery. I appreciate that I'm still out there pinging around in people's heads, yours especially.
Yes. Riley asked, who's the dragon this season?
Yeah, dude. I totally got the stunt performer. What's his name again?
David.
That's David. Yeah.
David. That's the one that everybody says is Coach S.
Yeah, but he's the dragon, not the dragon slayer. He's a dragon.
Right. Okay.
I actually, when I was watching him, I was thinking about, like that he was a little bit like Brendan, right? Really full of himself and a good, good in challenges. He's got the body. He's got the looks for it. I actually am rooting for him. I want to, I'm hoping he does well.
Okay. Let's go to, we get the disaster tribe. Riley, you and I talked about whether or not there was going to be a disaster tribe this season. We got some pushback from Teeny saying they didn't see it fully, but it's materializing right before our eyes. Vula, disaster tribe.
Oh, yeah. We had this pegged.
Anything they can do to correct?
Well,
yeah, they're sunk. What's happening next for them? They're going back to tribal again next week again?
I honestly think yes, they are.
Okay.
It's funny. I'm watching the episode and I'm looking at how much time is left. You always know it's going to be a bang on tribal when they go to tribal council with a lot of time. Mm-hmm. And I looked this morning and I'm like, they got no time for this tribal. But then Jeff had to compensate for it and say at the end, well, we could be here all night. I could just keep listening to this. Should we vote? Should we not vote? He's even admitting that they're a lost cause, even from a production standpoint.
He's just like, okay, let's go. I was thrown for a loop because we spent so much time on Loggy. We spent so much time. We had Eva deciding that she's the top 3 strongest people on the tribe and saying Star should sit out. And then Star immediately goes on a rampage. Coach, what did Star do right? Did she do anything right here? Because she she found the beware advantage, and then she told everybody.
I know I don't know if she's doing anything right. I mean, not getting voted off, I guess, but she just talk, and I'm watching that, and I'm just thinking she's sinking her own ship.
Yeah, Eva definitely misstepped by saying Star should sit out the next challenge and by telling the other 2 they're on the weaker end. Yeah. For sure, not a good play. But then Star, gets a fire lit under her, finds the advantage, goes to Joe and Shaheen initially. Well, Joe, did you like Joe's approach here where he was like, I can't be caught just with Star. I need to bring somebody else in my alliance in so that they know that I'm not betraying them.
Yeah, and I think that's important, right? You got to branch out. I have tunnel vision sometimes, when I've played, and to branch out and keep those options open, to keep exploring, keep evolving as the game is evolving itself. I think that's crucial.
Yeah, I also think bringing somebody in to have your back in that moment that you are already in an alliance with is going to bring you tighter with them. And so Shaheen comes in, and what should Shaheen do here? Because we see him go through the full gamut of how much should he help. He's like, Star's not figuring this out right now. Should I solve it? Should I prolong it? Thomas even tells him to throw. So Star eventually goes to Thomas and Bianca too and tells him. So now everybody on the tribe knows. Everybody's kind of helping, but now they're debating what to do. Thomas tells Shaheen to just make the clue thing disappear. What is Shaheen's right play? What would you
asking? You're asking the non-strategist.
Yes.
What's the right play? I would say distance. Just keep. I would put serious distance between myself. And as far as all the advantages and the all those scare me, right? I'm not that type of a player. So anything like that, I would just tend to run away from.
I like what Shaheen is doing, is prolonging it, not trying to solve it as quickly as he can, just to buy some time to figure it out, put Star without her vote, and maybe, have time to maneuver. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. I didn't hate that Star was like, I can't figure this out. Let me bring in Joe. But then Shaheen gets involved, and if you're Star, you have to be worried. But Star seems like she thinks everybody's with her individually, and they haven't all come together and decided that Star has told everybody, which is a bad place to be.
Yeah, I mean, nobody can really keep a secret on Survivor. You're out there. You're absolutely bored out of your mind. You're looking for any type of stimulus. And if you get a piece of information, you're not just going to hold on to it. So telling one person, they're going to then tell another person. And then, sooner or later, most people are going to find out.
Right. Let's talk about Joe's conundrum because now Star's come to him and wants to target Eva. And Eva is Joe's number one. And Joe he said, okay, now he's made emotional connections with everybody, and it's his cross to bear, and now he has to stab someone in the back to move forward. Is that a good position? Did he paint himself into a corner? Because if you get too emotionally tied to someone and then betray them, you're not going to win their vote at the end. Like there's a balance and a line.
Yeah, I think that, but you do have to have that one person that you can run with, even in this day and age of survival where it's so willy-nilly. You got to have that one person that you can trust. The thing is, you got to make sure it's so hard. You got to make a snap judgment in the first few days, sometimes the first few hours, and maybe you're going to pick the wrong person. Then you have to distance yourself from. Hopefully, they get out before the merge. They're not part of the jury. But those deep emotional connections I see happening. I actually like it. I think that he's building. I think from my point of view, watching it, I think that Joe is on the right track. I think that they're probably just fishing for stuff to throw us off the scent, that he is playing a really smart social game and making those emotional connections as long as he can, keep that one person that's not going to sink his own ship like I did a little bit with you, right? Like we trusted each other. And then you thought, well, I got this guy's back. I was an idiot. And it led, a little bit to your downfall with Tocantins. You got to pick the right person.
I mean, you get to that point eventually with that stuff. But Joe, I think this is going to be his story throughout this season, is getting close to people and then having to make decisions. And if you're too close and get betrayed by that person, it's not good. It's like I always say, like, you have to stab them in the back and lay them down gently. But you're not laying them down gently enough if you're getting so emotionally tied to them and then stabbing them in the back. And that's where you see what?
I was just going to say, that's some freaking great wisdom. I hope some of these want to be slackers that want to be on 50 are taking notes on that. That's seriously, that's like lay them down gently. But if you get too emotionally tied, it's pulling the rug out from underneath of them and they're crashing down hard.
Yeah. But I mean, it's some people, that's their superpower, is getting emotionally tight with people quickly. But then then you can't distance yourself enough to stab those people in the back and have them still respect your game. And so I think this is going to be very tough for Joe as he's realizing that he's good making emotional connections, but is he equally as good severing those connections? That's going to get tricky. Is there any way that Star can course correct in this in this thing? Like, she's told everybody she has this advantage, she hasn't gotten it yet. Is Riley?
Her tribe can keep winning and she can make the merge and find some new allies.
Yeah, but she gets to the merge, everybody's just going to tell everybody that she has an idol.
Yeah, it's a problem. She's not in a good spot. But that's at least a start. You'll get to the merge and there's some people looking to jump ship and make some new lines in the sand and whatnot, because right now her problem is, whether she knows it or not, she's on the very bottom.
Yeah. Okay.
But what do you think? What would be her way out of this just only on this tribe?
She's got to just burn the idol. Like, just play it her first tribal council, get rid of it. Like, that's, I think, like, when so many people know about it, you just have to, like, huck it.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's too late. Like, maybe this drew people into her and she got to have the conversations a little bit. And even like Thomas was like, oh, you haven't talked game with us since the beginning. I'm so glad you're finally opening up. She's like, yep. And I found something. So I think that, like, if she can get rid of the idol, even if, especially if you misplayed it, like, then people are looking at you like, like, playing it wrong, maybe the best maneuver, because everybody knows about it. If it gets to the merge, even more people are going to know about it. And so I think, like, just get rid of it. Like, find it, play it immediately, and be done. But I don't think she's going to do that. I think she's going to have some troubles.
She'll hold on to it and get blindsided?
Yeah. I think everybody's going to convince her.
I'm taking, you're dropping some golden nuggets here, man. Look at you. I was going to say, she done. But there is a way. And I think a way to act stupid, right? I mean, even like a Philip play where it's like, I'm no threat to anybody. And, play the idol wrong and then try to correct that course. It'll be difficult, but not insurmountable.
Yeah. Yeah. I think she just has to play it and just be like so obnoxiously bad at playing it that everybody discounts her. So that's what it's hard like that. Like, every move you make is like either the beginning of a death sentence or a build to power. And there's very few in between moves where you're just like, this just keeps me floating.
It feels like a lot of Survivor just comes down to, like, do you click with the people you're on that first tribe with? And if the answer is no, it's just so hard.
Yeah, it is. In this, with the tribe of 6 people, you definitely have to click. And I mean, we said from the get-go, Star was an outlier with her personality. And so it was going to be hard for her anyways, which is proving to be the case. But very, very tricky. And you don't even have control of that, of which tribe you're on. You're just like, oh, at least they're not on the disaster tribe. Let's go to the journey. Coach, you jumping on that boat show up. You're like, let me go.
I'm going for sure.
You're going.
I mean, look, it goes back to that, there's so little to do. I think it puts a target on your back. You know me, I would go do it, come back, be totally honest with everybody, tell everybody what transpired. I couldn't do it any other way. But yeah, absolutely. You get a chance to get out of tribe. I think it's actually really cool, right? I know people complain about, the show keeps evolving, but I think that the different things that they implement, it's good to keep our attention, but it's also good for the players, to go out there and to have one more thing that they can, that they can latch onto and have some type of stimulus. So yeah, I'm going for sure. Even though I'm terrible at puzzles and I would probably blow it, I'm still going.
Would you have gotten that puzzle?
I mean, it seemed pretty straightforward, didn't it? But
yeah, it was kind of a slide puzzle-y thing. Yeah. And it seemed like once you like kind of got almost there, it came together.
Yeah.
But I think there was a little juggling around. I think it was mostly just like keep cycling through, because we saw Mitch get it pretty easily. Thomas kind of like gave up and then just kept moving pieces a little bit and then was like, oh, I got it. And Mary did not get it. But
by the way, why was Mary climbing into the tallest end of the boat?
I mean, right at the front. She didn't want to get her feet wet. She didn't want to get her feet wet, so she just decided to roll over the front of the boat.
Jeez.
Yeah, that was funny, and everybody's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, oh, wow, oh, she's doing it that way." What about the moment where the tribe was like, "This is a practice run"?
Yeah,
Say wins. She gets ready to go, and Mary's like, "No, that was a practice run," and the whole tribe's like, "Yeah, that was a practice run."
I mean, at that point, you just got to like if you and I are out there and you win, and we don't want somebody else to win, freaking stuff it, man. All right, Tyson. Yeah. No, that was a practice run. No, that was for real. You're going. You know, that
was for real. Let's not do it again. Yeah.
So
why would we do a practice? It was easy.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. I thought it was so funny that they decided to do a practice run, and then Say was like, "Oh, I won," and then Mary was like, "No, that was practice. That was practice. We said that was practice."
Yeah, they can't even get that right.
If it had been the other way, if Mary had won the practice run, Say would have been like, hold on, that was practice. We got to do it again.
100%, she would have. But she was hoping that the guys on her tribe would just have had her back and been like, "Yep, no, we'll just count that as the real one. Go ahead, Say."
Got it. It's only a practice run if you get the result you don't want. If you get the result you do want, then it counts.
Yes, exactly. That's the beauty of the practice run. It's yeah. I mean, it's the same with everything. Whenever you're down on the first game, you're like, practice game, warm up game, just doing one little warm up game. Did they have the option on the journey to choose whether or not to even attempt the puzzle?
I think they did, didn't they? No, I think they did.
At the beginning, it was like, if you want, I thought that's what I was unclear. Did the note say if you want to attempt for an advantage, or did they just be like, go to these positions and play the game?
No, I think it did, right? I think it did. And then they came back, right? And then
so they came back. Well, I mean, that's why I'm wondering, is because they all came back, and Vula's first. Mary comes back, tells the camp she lost her vote, and Say is like, "You don't seem too bummed about that." Like, Say is just constantly firing shots at Mary. It's just like, and Mary knows, like, Mary, like early in the episode, Say's like, "Oh, water under the bridge ain't no thing that you voted for me." And Mary's like, "I'm not believing that for a second." And it's funny that Say keeps being like, "I know how to play this game and mask my emotions," and meanwhile everybody has her emotions clocked for every single thing. So
if this is her trying to mask her emotions, I want to see her not trying.
It's interesting because like Say seems like like a really nice gal. It just, I don't think I'd play like Monopoly with her. You know what I mean? She just seems just a little too intense with everything. But like overall, she seems really kind. Just like, don't play any games with her.
Just don't cross her. If you are against her, it's it's no good. I was watching her and I thought, she's trying to play the end game. Like right now, she's like forcefully making these moves, which need to be saved for later down the road. Because if you're making them right now, everybody's like, "Oh, they're gaming way too hard." But I think like I'm watching her like just like force her will upon whatever move is next. And it's working, and it will work for a little while because other people don't want to step into the driver's seat. But like the timing of them is like, I mean, how can she correct, Coach? Can she correct? Can Say pull back, pump the brakes a little bit, and sink into the shadows? Or does she just have to play from the front now the whole time?
I mean, we'll ask the master what he thinks about that in a second. But, I think that when you go out there, especially your first time, you literally go to your instincts and then you just run with it, So I don't think she at this point can possibly put the brakes on because it's not in her personality. She's going to go 100%. And even if she sees herself digging her own grave, she's going to just keep going because, it's that mantra. We get into a situation. I hate to bring up, an old season of mine, but I remember watching myself on South Pacific, and about halfway through, I was like, please don't say honor and integrity again for the rest of the season. And then it was just like doubling down. It was like every word out of my mouth. I just like vomiting those two words. And I'm like, stop it. But it was like that safety blanket, right? It's like Linus's safety blanket on the Peanuts. He just has to have it, no matter how bad it smells, no matter how wretched it is. You're going to grab a hold of it and ride it all the way down to the ground.
Yeah. It was. It is true. Like first time, she's probably like, just go until the wheels fall off. Push hard. I'm playing hard. I'm here to play hard. And I do think that, especially because it is her first time playing this game, that it is going to be very hard for her to realize she needs to pump the brakes and let somebody else control something. Which It's too bad because I like to see these people who are going so hard play for a while or last long, because like that's what makes the game fun, is people really being aggressive. We go to Loggy, and Thomas decides to do the opposite thing of what Star did, and he tells no one. He says he didn't even attempt the puzzle so he could keep his vote, and plans not to tell anybody. Meanwhile, he got block a vote, so he can block someone's vote at any given time when the numbers come down or when he feels like he's in danger. And Mitch comes back and tells the group that he got an advantage, and everybody cheers. Everybody cheers to the point of like, oh, it might not even be bad for Mitch. Is it bad for Mitch? Is there a part here where are people being like, Mitch is dangerous now? Or is everybody just like, Charity especially was like so pumped, teared up on the beach with him, telling him how stoked she is. And I think the only thing that was a detriment is that everyone saw how close Charity and him were, and David with his foursome of Chrissy, the woman with the very deep belly button, Kyle with the wart, and Camilla, all banding against those two. How do you feel about that? Like, the reception is so different. Is that knowing your audience? Is that an emotional connection? What is that? Like,
I mean, I think, I think human nature, we don't like people that are on top. We don't like people that are a threat. And because he's such an underdog, right? From the way that he speaks to his demeanor to, him saying, I'm going to tell the truth. I mean, he's obviously built up a lot of trust in a short amount of time. But part of that is that he's not the top dog out there. When you and I go and play, we're always a threat just from being us, Yeah. So I thought it was actually really cool. And I think he's got a really deep connection, right? And I think that momentarily it might put a small target on his back, but I think in the long run, if you know where somebody's coming from and they're so unassuming, I think he's going to go deep into the game. If I had to pick a winner, I'd say probably Mitch at this point.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. Winner pick early, Mitch, for coach. The one thing that this did do, though, is that it spurred the other four to find a beware advantage. Kyle finds it, and Camilla solves it, and then they have it between this foursome. What's more dangerous now? Is Mitch's advantage more dangerous to this group, or is Kyle's immunity idol more dangerous to this group? Like, is Kyle going to end up being the target now because he has the idol, even though people help him find it?
Probably. I mean, anytime you have the idol, if you have the idol and people know about it,
you're
done.
Burn the idol.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. Burn the idol. Burn the idol foolishly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
According to Tyson.
Foolishly.
Tyson, I'm your biggest fan, right? You do know that.
Yeah, I mean, I have a mom and wife and kids too, Coach. But maybe
Survivor.
you're top.
Okay,
you're one of the top, for sure. But I do think, like, if people know about the idol, like, you've got to, like, people are like, oh, how are they going to use it? They're going to be so, like, you got to, and people are always like, I want to play it brilliantly. But if people know about your idol, you got to play it like a jackass and just be like, oh shit, that was worthless. No. Oh, what? I had a totally wrong read on everything. I don't even know which way is up in this game.
What game are we playing?
Yeah. Where are we? I think. Yeah.
It's a good point. It's very hard to use an idol brilliantly if everyone knows about it.
Yeah.
There's almost no way to do it unless you play it on somebody else.
Yeah. And even then, if everybody knows about it, it's not that brilliant.
No, not as impactful as the surprise idol that no one knows you had.
Because the second tribal council rolls around and everybody knows you have an idol, everybody's coming to you asking what you're doing with the idol and speculating what you're going to do with the idol. And if you tell somebody you're going to play it on them, then they tell everybody else that they're going to play it on you. And then you end up going home because that all got around.
Yeah, it's almost a disadvantage at this point to have an idol that people know about.
Yeah. I think what you got to do is tell the person who spreads the most information that you're going to play it on them and then play it on yourself.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah. Switcheroo. Something like that. Riley, you have a better idea?
No, that's a good one. No, that's it. Or you just don't tell anyone that you're going to play it on them and you play it, as like a fully surprise move that no one saw coming.
Yeah.
But you got to do this late. It's got to be like final 6 or something. So it's like, this is the game winning move. Not.
Yeah, but you're saying that's if nobody knows about your idol.
But maybe people do know, but they don't know that you're going to play it.
So they're just going to let you get to final 6 and then play it? They're just like, Riley had an idol since day 3. Should we just let him get to 6 and see what he does?
Well, when you have my charisma, they let you get to 6.
I guess you're planning to get to 6 with an idol that everybody knows about on day 2.
No, if I had an idol everyone knows about, I'm burning it at the next tribal council. Exactly like we've been saying. I think it's the only safe way.
Yeah. Okay. I'm glad you finally came around, Riley, because when you go out and play, you're not making it to final 6 if everybody knows you have an idol on day 2.
I agree.
Thank you. That's all I ever wanted, Riley, from you. 8 seasons into this thing, and finally Riley agrees with me. Let's go to the immunity challenge. Reward is fishing kit.
Wait, I have a question before we move on. They're carving stuff into this tree. Does production have to chop this tree down now? Or is it going to be like, is Propsty 5G going to be there for the next group
we won't see it on camera again. We won't see it on camera.
It'll
again.
be there? Like when you were playing like at Fiji.
There were relics.
Yeah, there's stuff from like the previous seasons.
You were finding stuff. Like even on Samoa, I found an umbrella in a tree where that production had stashed somewhere. We found fishing lures in the reef that had gotten snagged, and then the other contestants just cut the line. You find stuff. We found in the Philippines, I think we found like a stash of like ginger root that somebody camping there before the game had started had, so we were using that to flavor our rice.
Interesting.
So I think it'll be there. Maybe they scrub it, just like scrub the tree down, and it just has a big wound on it. Maybe they chop it down, but I don't know. I also didn't care for that moment. I thought that was reeked of a little bit too much effort.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Riley? I'm watching David do that and be like, this guy is so thirsty for camera time.
I'm if I'm ever cast on Survivor, I'm going out early and burying a jar of peanut butter somewhere on one of those beaches, and then
they'll rip it from me if they find it.
But I'll be able to eat a lot of it before they can rip it from me.
Just claim that you're going to poop.
Exactly.
And then they won't follow you.
I'll have a little bit of time to eat.
Yeah, that's smart. So anybody who ever listen, if you're going out to film 49, you're listening to this to get some homework done before that happens. Book a flight to Fiji, get out to the island, stash peanut butter on all 3 beaches, and then no matter where you end up, you're good to go. That's brilliant, Riley.
Can you imagine if somebody did this? It would actually be such good TV, they almost might allow it. But they would be so mad.
They would not. You think they'd allow that? Coach, would they allow that if you pulled up a jar of peanut butter and they're like, where did you get that? And you're like,
no, they wouldn't allow you to have
ago.
it, but they might allow it to make it to the broadcast.
Hell no.
Coach, are they loving this or are they hating this?
No, they're not going to let anything come out, right? I asked for an extra I asked for an extra hair tie one day that first season, like 2 days in, and they were like, nope, if you didn't bring it in, we're not showing it. We're not adding it to the game. So they're not going to show that.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're yanking it from you and yelling at you and then doing nothing.
Never getting invited back.
No, they don't care about that. They just want to be in control and scare you every step of the way.
Okay.
So, but I do like it. I do think that you should book a flight out there. And for those going on 49, we actually did do that last week. Ashleigh, Riley, and myself were out in Fiji stashing peanut butter jars all over.
Start digging.
Yeah, the Ringer reward. So if you can find that, that's very cool. just start digging around. But if you dig into peanut butter that doesn't have any casing, wash your hands.
Yes. The important part of this entire story.
Of the entire story. Now, can we go to the immunity challenge, Riley?
Yeah, go for it.
What do you think of this challenge, Coach?
It's great. I feel like I've seen it before, in various ways, right? People jumping off a platform. But it's cool, it's those. I've never participated in a swimming challenge.
You haven't?
No. No.
Dang.
Yeah. So, it's like, I cannot imagine, trying to hold your breath while the adrenaline's going, right? You're short of breath anyway. And, anytime you're trying to submerge yourself in water, it just must be an absolute mind game to overcome that. I have no oxygen in my lungs. I felt like that just running around on the challenge, and I didn't feel like I had any oxygen. So it was cool. It was another great challenge and seemed pretty long, which was cool.
Yeah.
A lot of room for give and take.
I like that it didn't end in a puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
I like that balance, like team ball holding thing was very, very tricky. You saw Cedric and Kevin could not get it. And I like that there were a lot of different mechanics to it. Everybody was involved, and it did last a long time, and you could see that people were physically exhausted from it.
Mm.
And so I was like, yeah, I like this. I like the balance thing. Like, I don't know why. I think for me, I like watching something that I know personally would be so frustrating. When you're like, I know we can get that. Why can't we get it? I got to try again, but I got to calm down, but I can't calm down because I'm trying to hurry. Like, I like that aspect of it. And I think that that's how the balance being felt for these people. So, couple things. Joe is the Tom Brady of Survivor. Would you have gone with Josh Allen there if you were the host of this thing?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Coach is a Bills fan. He played the anthem. You played the national anthem on your trumpet for the Bills, right?
Yeah.
You did a lot of cool stuff. You keep doing cool stuff with the Bills organization, which is awesome. They'll probably win a Super Bowl at some point.
If they kept it, that they're foolish. They should just keep flying me in to all those playoff games. They'd win every one if I'm playing the magic trumpet beforehand.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Did you tell him that?
I did, actually. I told him, I said, look, we're without fail. We win when I play. Yeah. And the guy was like, he chuckled at it. But, I think if the head coach if the head coach was aware of the situation, being a former coach, you're going to grab onto any superstition that is out there.
Yes. If you can make it a thing, dude, you'll be hired by the Bills organization, trucked around the country, playing the anthem any chance that they can get you to play the anthem.
Exactly.
You got to get that.
Yeah, I know. Yep.
Email him after this and just let him know that you're available.
I'll tell him Tyson said so.
Yeah, for sure. I love that. Go Bills. Yeah, so Joe's the Tom Brady of Survivor, hucking that buoy. But then we see Eva draining those basketball shots. Because I was like, Star should be shooting these. Star was a former basketball player. And so I was like, ooh, Eva stepping up right now. Star's on the bench. This is where Star's going to be like, Eva has to go. But then Eva drained 3 in a row. And we thought it was over. But then Mitch just finds the magic, hits them all, wins. He's like a hero now. Like everybody's going berserko. First, he finds this thing at camp. Everybody loves him. Everybody choosing, celebrating. And then he wins this thing. Not far behind, Joe closes it out for Lagi. And Vula loses because Cedric, the doctor, cannot balance. If you're Cedric in this moment, how are you approaching this?
I think, you just say I messed up and it's my weakness but I'm better at other things. And I probably, if I were in his shoes, I'd probably, remind everybody I'm a surgeon. I went, 25 years of schooling straight, and I can solve any puzzle. I would try to put myself into a situation where the next challenge, I'm going to be there for you guys. I might not have the balance. It's my weakness. So that's
so then what if you do the puzzle and you also are weak there? Then you're done.
You're screwed.
Okay, so this is your Hail Mary. This is your one Hail Mary to be like, I got one more chance to prove my worth in these challenges. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because they all go back to camp. And Cedric, I don't think this is a wrong play. I think acknowledging that you were the weak link is fine. Crying and apologizing, but I think like I understand if you want to vote me out is like a little bit too far. Obviously not detrimental, but I don't think that would come out of my mouth.
I hate it when people say that. I really do. I absolutely hate it. Oh, well, I did so bad. You can vote me out if you want to. It's like, be a martyr, but only on exile, not after a challenge,
Exactly. And then he, I thought there was a little funny moment where he was like, why am I crying? And then everybody's like, yeah, why am I crying? You're crying. It's day 4. Why are we all crying about this? But emotions are heightened. It is because people at home like don't realize, like if you're there, coach, and Cedric's crying and Say starts crying, and everybody's kind of tearing up. Are you also tearing up? Are you crying in this moment? Do you think?
I mean, it depends on. I guess it depends, right? It depends on how close I am to him. It depends on the moment. But you do feel. I don't think I would be crying, right? I mean, as much as I get carried away emotionally, I don't think in that moment I would be crying.
I don't think I would either. But then I think that makes you the target if you're sitting there as the ice cold killer who can't cry. But I don't think I could force myself to cry in that moment.
Well, you can just.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
Sniffle.
Yeah.
But it is so heightened. I do want to go back to the beginning of the episode. And it's like those early days on Survivor, and you only get it one time. You don't get it when you come back because the game is on. Yeah. But it's like the first 4 days of playing the game. It's blissful. It really is. You just think everybody's going to get along. You're not face to face maybe with somebody getting voted off yet, but it really is those blissful early days. But there's an incredible amount of bonding that happens during that time as well, especially for people that you're trying to align yourself with. I remember, you and I, day one, that's stood the test of time, man. All these years, all these seasons later, you're my number one guy, right? And so, it happened on day one. So I think that people really underestimate, you think about when are your senses heightened the most? New opportunities, new doors that you're stepping through, new people, new situations. That always is a moment for heightened senses on all sides. And so I think, we never know. Maybe they were just so bonded together that, they're all tearing up.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I thought that too. So, I mean, it is true. Like you're bonded. It's a crazy experience. You realize that this is your one shot, maybe. And so all of that. And also, like you said, like I've had 4 day ones on Survivor. One of them was with my now wife, by ourselves on an island. But even then, my mind was like in game mode. Like, how can I control this? Whereas Tocantins, the first season, it wasn't like that because you don't go out there in full on game mode. You go out there telling yourself you're going to be full on game mode, but also not knowing what to expect of any of it. Yep. So it is definitely different. Bianca hits Thomas in the face with a pole, which then we saw he gets a total black eye. His eye is all red and purple on the next episode from this. I thought he lost an eye or something. Like, that was crazy. That was crazy. Are they still friends after that? Like, part of me would be like, yeah, we're friends, but I don't feel as bad for voting you out now that you jabbed me in the eye with this pole. Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, Survivor's wild. Survivor is so wild. Let's go to Vola, the Pre-Tribal Scramble. Say didn't like Cedric's performance, but still going to target Mary. And we get this kind of this back and forth. Where did Kevin go wrong?
I don't know where the whole tribe went wrong. None of that made sense to me. They're trying to strategize when they obviously don't have, a clue. Were they trying to, flush the idol and we didn't see enough of that? Was that kind of the play? But to me, none of it made sense.
Well,
none of it made sense.
So my understanding, this is what we saw on camera, is that Kevin wants to blindside Say. Like, that's what he wants to do. He's going to do it. He realizes she has the idol, doesn't feel safe with it there, can get everybody to blindside her, which is great. But he doesn't take into account what everybody else's perspective is. He just puts the wheels in motion. And that's the problem. That's the problem with a lot of Survivor missteps, is somebody assuming what's best for them is best for their group. And that's not always the case. And you see immediately Cedric doesn't like it. And he goes to Say, and he tells her, like, play your idol tonight. I've got your back. Great. But then Cedric can't also help himself from just telling Say the next best move, which is best for Cedric. He even admits it's best for him, but he's like, let's get rid of Mary. Because Say's like, well, why don't we just get rid of Kevin, the guy who's betraying us? And he's like, well, I want to keep Kevin because I have you and Kevin on either side. Like, what is that a sales pitch? Are you doing that, Ashleigh? Is that
no. Like, there was many times during this, like, this scramble where I was literally going outside going, huh? Like, what? Why are you saying that? It just, the whole tribe, they just seem to be at different views constantly. Yeah. And everyone seems to be playing a different game. And I'm just sitting there going, huh? If it was up to me, I probably would have voted out Cedric and scared Say just to get rid of her idol. But everyone else is like, I was still confused by the end of tribal council. I was like, what? Is that how we're going? Okay, sure.
Yeah. Say was definitely going to go Kevin. Like, there was no way she wasn't going Kevin after she heard that Kevin was throwing her under the bus. I think Cedric was not realizing that he'd given all the power to Say by telling her to play her idol. And that was Cedric's misstep for sure. Kevin's misstep was,
It's so early. Whatever bonds you think you have, flushing an idol just makes absolute sense. To sit there and try to go against that. I mean, early days, you're just looking for the easy vote, right? So the easy vote is, to vote off Mary. That's easy. She's obviously the weak link. She's on the outside. It's not going to be any long-term trust for her. But flushing an idol also makes sense. So killing two birds with one stone, so to say anything about that, Cedric was really foolish. I think there's so many betas running around the tribe. I don't even know if that's politically correct for me to say, but like, there's so many betas running around. There's no true leadership.
That's fine, but you don't want to say beta cucks. You can say beta.
So like, there's no leadership, man. So like, what is their trajectory? What is their ethos? What is their mentality as the tribe? They have none. They have no identity except for being on the absolute bottom, and just every decision, seems like it's, one bad step after another.
Yeah, I think there's no democracy in the tribe, and that's how you come to decisions, especially early on, if you're trying to keep everybody in an alliance. You say, Coach, what do you think? Ashleigh, what do you think? Riley, what do you think? Here's the couple things I'm thinking of. What does anybody else have anything better? And then if you're very adamant about getting something, then you have to present a pitch that everyone agrees is the best move. And you have to approach it as such. Be like, hey, I'm not sure which direction we should go, but here's what I'm thinking. What do you think? Do you have any other ideas? Like, that's how, like, Kevin going and saying, this is what we're doing. Cedric then going and saying to Say, this is what we're doing. Yeah, and then I think even Kevin going to Mary and saying, I've got you, but you're going to have to just like lay low. Like, why not just tell her the whole plan so that she's more locked in? Like, if somebody says, I've got you, that's when I'm going around and being like, hey, Coach said he's got me. Do you know what's going on? Coach told me that don't worry about it. Is that like, that's also bad, I think. Like, I don't know. you got to be a democracy here early. You can be a dictatorship down the road when you are forcing your way through the last couple of tribal councils, but here you have to be a democracy.
Yeah.
Say decides that she's definitely playing her idol. So we go to tribal council. And Jeff just literally is like, start talking. I like that approach, honestly. Ashleigh, did you like that?
I did. He was, I think him kind of sitting back and not asking too many questions, though he did kind of get a little snippy after Justin said something. I can't remember exactly what Justin was talking about.
Yeah.
But
Justin was said, if we're winning, it'd be different. And
he's
Jeff's
like, but you're
not.
Yeah.
You're not, but you did. And I was like, okay, Jeff. What's going on? He's like, you're not supposed to be speaking. I want to hear say something. But yeah, it was like, I like when he steps back a little bit and lets the tribe, especially when they're the crazy chaos tribe, just kind of go at each other for a little bit. I think that makes some of the best TV and some of the best moments, and it also shakes up the vote. You can always kind of tell on everyone's faces, like, what? Huh? Is that what we're voting for? And I think that just makes it a lot more fun to watch.
Yeah, when multiple people are blindsided in the thing, it does make it, because now we know that they have to go back and have a weird conversation. And that is, the more weird conversations they can have, the better. I love that. So, yeah, I mean, we get, Coach, was there a moment where you thought Mary is going to end up pushing the target back on herself? Say is going to end up voting for Mary again after...
I did think so. I
thought so too.
Yeah, I thought for sure. Yeah.
Riley didn't think that
the vote would go back onto Mary
because she was firing so hard at Say.
No, because I feel like at that point, once Say's the type that it's like once she knows someone's betraying her, she's locked on.
Okay,
she was just like, it's got to be Kevin.
Yeah.
Plus, I predicted Kevin, so I was like, this is it. It's happening.
Dang, dude. Two in a row. Who did I predict? I predicted Say.
I think it was, yeah.
Good job, Riley. Two in a row.
I'm lucky if I get two all season, so this is probably where it ends for me. But
still, two in a row, first two. Like, that's like winning the first two individual immunity challenges back to back.
Yeah,
a couple people have done that.
I'm going to go to the gas station and buy a lottery ticket as soon as we're done recording.
I don't know if I'd press your luck like that.
I might throw away a whole $1.
Yeah, that's true. That's $2 a line now. Come on, right?
Oh, wow. Yeah. You see how often I buy lottery tickets.
Yeah. And both of them are. Both the Mega Millions and the Powerball. I don't know anything about gambling. Yeah. Anything else from this tribal council that stands out to you, Coach?
I mean, I thought it was pretty. I was surprised, that it didn't sway back to Mary, but I think overall it was just kind of a humdrum. And I thought Jeff, I really, now at this point, you and I are looking at layers within layers, right? So we're not just watching what they're showing us, but we're thinking about all this other stuff. And I just kept thinking about when Jeff lost it on us at Heroes and Villains and was like, we're going to be here all friggin'. He dropped the F-bomb on us like 20 times in a row. He's like, we will be here all night. I'm going back and sleeping at my hotel, and you guys are going out and sleeping in this. I'm going to get what I want. But I could just see that he was, just kind of bored with the whole thing. Probably bored with the tribe. He must have been thinking at some point, how in the world did I put all these people together on the same tribe?
Was there a moment where Kevin should have seen it coming? Because Say said, Mary and I are working out the kinks. And Mary was like, you don't do that by voting me out. And Say goes, I didn't say I'm voting you out.
Yep.
Should Kevin...
But at that point, it's like too late, right? Like, I think...
you can't... that's when you stand up. That's if you feel like you're threatened. That's where you stand up and start whispering at people. Do something. But
that's crazy. You got to be sure that you are the target if you stand up, because otherwise people will be like if he wasn't the target, people would be like, Kevin's too crazy. Maybe he just got to go.
Yeah, it's true. But
would it be too crazy to just be like, look at them and be like, guys, are you voting for me right now? And just kind of shake up the entire conversation. Be like, wait.
No, that would be awesome.
Just watch Say's face when you ask that, and I think she'll give you the answer based on her reaction.
Well, I mean, all Say would immediately be like, yeah, and you know why, Kevin?
You got to respect that. You got to respect that she's so honest. I mean, it's a little too much. She definitely needs a friend in there to be like, hey, girl, shh, that's enough. But I got to respect her honesty, you know?
Yeah. I also like that play, Ashleigh. If it is you and you're realizing it in tribal council, just be like, hold. I'm getting a feeling it's me. Is it me, guys? And is there anything we can do to not have it be me? Like, what can we do right now for it not to be me?
What can I give you?
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, could Kevin have played his advantage? What did he have?
Just a shot in the dark, probably.
Just a shot in the dark? I thought he had something else.
Did he have anything else?
I thought he said he was going to be the most powerful person in the tribe after, or was that?
I think he had anything else.
No? Okay. Well, I guess play your shot in the dark then, Kevin. But yeah, I do like that. I like, Ashleigh, I think we need to see that. We need to see somebody realize and then be like, no, not going to be me right now, guys. I am filibustering the entire tribal council until we have all decided it will not be me. I will go all night. I will not take a break. I will keep talking.
This is good. Yeah, we need to see somebody try the filibuster strategy. What will Jeff do?
He'd let it go. I think he would let it go.
You think going and going?
You think, Coach, that he'd just let somebody ramble and ramble and ramble to avoid being voted out?
I think he would be really excited about it in the beginning.
Yeah.
But I think then there would come a point where he would put his foot down.
Yeah, I think eventually if nothing was shifting or moving or conversations weren't being had, I think he would eventually. But I think if you were turning the tide in any capacity, I think he'd let that go as long as it seemed like something was moving. Say plays her idol, and we see 2 votes for Kevin, and he's gone. We don't get to see the other votes. Was there any other? There was other votes, right? There was
just one other. Well, because the one for Say that was his vote got nullified by the idol. Mary didn't vote because she lost it. So there would have been one other vote in there that was for Kevin.
That would have been for Kevin, or it could have been a stray for Mary.
No, because they would have showed it then.
No, yeah, you're right. They probably would have showed it. Okay, you're right, Riley. Dang it.
There we go. I agreed with you earlier. You admit I'm right now.
We're really coming together. I feel like we are starting to trust each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kevin, not bothered when Say plays her idol. Not bothered. He thought his plan was coming together perfectly and Mary was going to be gone. So he was kind of like, whatever. Then he's totally shocked when it's him. Absolutely shocked. Like stunned. Could not speak for a little while and then pulled himself together. Crazy. What do you think of the episode, Coach? What do you think of the season so far?
It's good. I mean, I go back to what I've already said. I love the character development. I like the diversity. I like, some people are good at challenges. Other people seem to be really smart. Some people witty. I did like the fact that there's being trust thrown around out there. There's quite a few people we haven't heard necessarily all that talk about, about trust. So I like that. It won't last long, but I did like that part. And, challenges are good. It's a fresh new cast. I'm digging it. It'll be cool to see these it'll be cool to do a deep dive in these next couple of seasons to make sure that we don't overshadow these seasons thinking about, season 50. That's going to be part of your job to, continue to hook people into these individuals. And
that being said, don't forget to check out season 50 Survivor airing spring 2026. Riley, let's go to the Riley Reads. Riley's Reads. Somebody gave that to us on Twitter. What do we got?
Well, we got some feedback that people like the favorite moment element, that superlative. So let's pick out our favorite moments from the episode.
Okay. Favorite moment for me, I guess I would say the humble traits. I like that. I like that we got to see people's weird things and that people were so open. It was just kind of a silly, like character building moment. Coach, what do you got?
4 nipples.
Four nipples.
Four nipples and a wart. 4 nipples and a kindred. You can't see it because it's not there anymore. And a kindred wart.
Yeah, get that removed, Kyle.
Absolutely.
4 nipples, and he wasn't not wishing he could milk them.
Yeah. God.
That's when the producers were going like this with the boundaries.
Yeah. Riley, favorite moment?
It's Cedric asking Say how well she can conceal her emotion, and her saying, "Oh, good," and then him just laughing. At her.
Yeah. Ashleigh, what do you got?
I'm actually gonna say the whole thing with Joe trying to find out if like his struggle between knowing whether or not he's going to betray Ava or not. I feel like it's going to be really important in the storyline coming up. And I was like, I kind of like this. It's like, yeah, she came to play Survivor, but at the same time, it's going to be very hurtful for him to betray her if he has to. And I think, very important storyline. So I marked it in my notes.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's sticking with her. I don't know if it's ride or die, but he talked himself into sticking with her here. We'll see how long that goes. What else we got, Riley?
All right, let's do our winner picks.
Cedric's been my winner pick. I said I was going to ride or die with my winner pick from day one, even though he misstepped a lot and has lost quite a bit of control. Cedric, pull yourself together, buddy. Like, he can still correct. He's not so far gone that he can't correct, but he needs to now go back, celebrate Kevin being gone. I guess he voted for Kevin too anyways. So that's come on, Cedric, pull it together. Coach, we already heard your winner pick.
Cedric's my next out. That's funny that you picked him to be the winner.
I picked him from day one, and I decided I'm ride or die, much like an ally in Survivor. So who did you say, Coach, earlier in the episode?
Mitch, right?
David. Oh, Mitch. Yeah, you said Mitch. So I see that. Mitch is going to be powerful. Will he be too well liked near the end? Where people are like, we got to get rid of him because he's going to win if he gets to the end.
Yeah.
I see it.
So, Riley, who you got?
I'm sticking with Kyle from the beginning. He's got an idol now. We need to see him burn it, as we're saying, but
burn it stupidly. Make it look like it needs to be with a lot of hubris, but then played incorrectly, where everybody's just like, this guy. Ashleigh, who you got?
I'm going to say Justin. Justin's been my pick since the beginning. My pizza guy.
Should have been my pick.
Him. Yeah,
should have been
honestly.
my pick because he said he wanted to play like this guy here. Supposedly, that's what you guys told me.
Yeah, he's the.
Yeah, let's go, Justin.
Gonna win, pizza man.
Come on, pizza guy. What else we got, Riley?
All right, let's do our next boot.
Oh, I can't say Cedric for both.
Yeah, that's conflicting.
You could.
Hedge my bets a little bit.
Yeah.
No, next out. I think they're going back to tribal again, and no. If they go back to tribal, it's only going to be Cedric. Maybe Say, but
really, I think they're going back to tribal, and I just think it's Mary.
You think they're just going to go back to Mary?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
She's been out of the vote for...
Fine, you convinced me. It's Mary.
For both votes. And now, at this point, it'll just be easy. It's just like, hey, she's the one on the outs. We've got 3 that have actually worked together and 1 that hasn't.
Okay, Mary. Riley, who are you going with? You can't choose the same as me.
Yes, I just convinced you.
Yeah.
You guys are getting along this episode. That's all.
Yeah. Okay,
Kindred
Mary.
Spirits.
Rare for us.
Coach, who you got?
For next out?
Yeah.
I said Cedric.
Cedric already. You keep hitting us before we hit you with the question. Ashleigh,
I know where you're going.
On top of it.
Ashleigh, who you got?
I think it's going to be Cedric too, because I saw Mary run really hard in the preview, and I think she's running straight to an idol. She's going to find one, and then she is going to be like, oh no, I got to, and so I think it's going to be Cedric.
Okay, interesting. Well split. I feel confident we're going to get this right between the four of us. It's going to be something. Anything else, Riley?
That's all for me.
All right, Coach. Thank you so much for your time and your energy and your wisdom. Always a pleasure. I get to see you in person here in the next few weeks, so that's exciting for both of us. Where can people find out what you're doing? I know you're posting 30 posts on Instagram in 30 days. Is that, did I see that from you?
Dude, you're so smart, man. You got it. Yeah. Dragons. So I really pay attention to my Instagram. I don't really bother with the rest of the stuff. It's at Dragon Slayer Coach. That's my Instagram. So that's where you can see all the magic that's happening. I just felt inspired to do maybe another little spiritual journey for the next 30 days. So I'm going to post 30 and 30, which for me is like real work. I mean, I literally, besides collaborating with your posts, I have not posted in 2025. I don't think I've done some stories. I've not posted anything. So on my feed. Okay. So that's a challenge for me. I got the first 5 days mapped out, and then hopefully the rest will come to me. But I just felt like I needed to do 30 for 30, not ESPN, but I needed to do 30 for 30. So here we go.
Yeah. And we will collaborate on a post for this episode, Coach. So you got one post already,
right, that's one
at least
right
one
there.
in the pipeline.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, that's one. Thank you again, Coach Riley. Always thank you for being here this season without leaving me so far. Ashleigh, thank you for being here throughout whatever obstacles come our way together. We always face them together. Until next week, everyone. See ya.
There it is.